So I'm going to talk about something really simple that you already know. But here's the thing. I've been teaching and learning, listening as an active act, as you were mentioning earlier, probably for over 30 years. And I just went out in the hall and didn't listen to my husband. So I just want us all to just for a moment be willing to be humble enough to know that we just don't listen all the time, especially when we're invested or attached to an outcome, right? In this particular case, him not being grumpy was the outcome I was attached to. So, you know, I remember when Neil and I just sort of bantered about what I would talk about, this felt in a way superficial, and then I just witnessed myself not do it. So I thought, well, maybe it's not superficial. Maybe it's just a question of we do it when we do it, and then sometimes it's not available, and then that all we've got is noticing that we're not listening. That's it. So in the interest of that quest, I'll talk to you about what I've seen about listening, including all of us as learners. Me too. So this is not above you. This is, this is just an opportunity to notice. That's it. So the first kind of listening we're all very familiar with. Okay. Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I can hear everything. Yeah, I can say back to you what you said. I'm just, yeah, I'm listening. Not listening. Hearing the words, being able to repeat the words is not any kind of listening in the context of what we're talking about here today. And we all do it sometimes because we know that in that moment we can hear the words, but there's no embodied listening, and we know that, but it's amazing how often we think we're listening. So that's obviously, right? So their attention is over here, but the attention can be on your own stuff, right? What you're going to have for dinner, oh, the plumber's coming. That's the equivalent of this is just an externalized version of that. It's the same thing where you can hear the words, but it's not. So I just want to say that because we kind of know we're not listening, but it's a pretense. It's a pretense of listening. So the second listening has a lot of similarities with the jackal, but remember, I'm only talking about when your mouth is shut. So EMBC and compassionate communication is a dialogue. I'm actually talking about the bit when your mouth is shut, like Neil had mentioned earlier about he knew that he could keep his mouth shut and he could have eye contact, but he also knew that he wasn't all there. So this is the kind of listening where you're there, right? You're there, your mouth is shut, and you're there, but you're listening through some filters, innocently, by the way. And maybe there are a bit of the jackal in there, but you're listening through a kind of analysis, I'm going to say, evaluation, through is that good, is that bad, do I agree, do I disagree, does it meet my opinion or not, do I like this person or not, is anything they're saying going to affect me or not? It's kind of a whole lot of you in it and a whole lot of analysis, and sometimes that's super helpful. Like if I'm going to sign a contract, I probably want to listen to the advice with a kind of evaluation in it. So I don't want to sort of throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I'm going to characterize all of that listening as listening from the head, listening through our head, our analysis. And it has a feeling in you. So don't worry about them. This is all, you feel something in you. There's a kind of you feel it up here. There's often a rightness in there. There's a kind of cool logic vibe. Again, nothing wrong with that as a way of being, but it doesn't serve people. when they want to feel heard and seen and felt. So if that's the name of the game, true connection, then that kind of listening won't deliver that. So the third kind of listening I've characterized, which by the way is just what I did to my husband, that second one. So the third one, I'm going to call it, and we've already talked about it here, listening from the heart. And I want to say that listening from the heart, see, this, I'm going to give you some fucking brilliant news. Hope nobody minds swearing, but you know Neil, and then you're probably fine with it. But this is so awesome what I'm going to say, and what I've discovered in my 30 years of working with CEOs. I mean, I have been in rooms, I didn't say much about what I do, but I work with leadership, where I've got the founder and the MD screaming the C word in each other's faces. So they're the kinds of situations I can be in, right? So there's not a lot of listening. But what I've noticed is what I'm going to say now is true. When all of our jackal mind falls away, the narrative self, the little voice inside our head that's got an opinion about fucking everything, when that kind of settles down, the awesome news is we naturally listen from the heart. It is what humans do. When our prejudice, our story settles down, and I've seen it. I do something early on in my work called campfire conversations. And I've actually been around a few campfires with Neil. And there's a way that we listen around that, in that space where we're just listening to receive. We're like the soil listening to the rain, right? Absorbing the nutrients, trusting that's what is for us, and the rest is going somewhere else. And we're not having to do anything with. And when we listen in that place, we are naturally in alignment with our essence and the others. We're not trying to get the conversation to go somewhere. We're just receiving the expression of someone else. And we may still have our reactions, but they're not salient to the listening. They just come and go. And we don't need to act on them. And then when we're in that heart-centered place, I like to think of it as the person I would be if one of my close friends or even someone I care about just rang me up and said, this thing has happened and I need to tell you about it. The kind of listening that I would bring in that moment wouldn't have any me in it. The only me that would be there is the one that would want to be of service and to give the other person the space to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. But I am sure, because the innocent eyes of a 4-year-old often has that kind of listening in it, I am sure we are born that way. When we can let go of our busyness and our minds and our needs for control and all that other stuff that we need to do sometimes, like I try and control my husband's moods. I mean, me too, right? I'm not trying to pretend I'm some enlightened being who listens from the heart all the time. But more often than not, on a good day, but always. On a bad day, I'm a bitch, so don't worry about that. But you know what I've come to see is, in the end, it's really simple. I'm either listening to a version of me and my story, or I'm not. I'm fully present in my bones with me, with the other. And I would say, controversially, against what a few others have said today, but consider it, and then throw it away if it's not for you. I'd say listening is less of a practice and more of a presence. And it's available immediately when we're present without any practicing. And I would like to finish with the word that I discovered the meaning of a few years ago, which is the truest thing I've come to what listening truly is. And it is the word namaste. And the word namaste is the God in me sees the God in you. And when we are both in that place, there is only one of us. Namaste, everyone.